My wife is being transferred to a new shop without her consent. Can she do anything about this? My wife has worked with this company for 7 years. It's a medium-sized company that started locally in our area, and has since branched out to a handful of other states. She is the manager for her shop. My wife has been working at this location the whole time she's been employed by this company. This is the location she chose to apply to, and the location she was hired to work at. Now, the company has decided to rotate all of the managers in our area, meaning every manager within the company is being moved to a new location. This decision was made because they want to give the shop managers a challenge in order to strengthen management skill. At least 2/3 of the managers are very upset about this, including my wife. Almost all of them specifically chose to live in the area that they work in, of course, and base a lot of other life choices around location. For us, we specifically rent a home that is 10 minutes away from my wife's current shop. We chose our 1-year-old daughter's daycare to be 5 minutes from the shop to make drop-off easier. Mostly every part of our daily life is in this town. They're moving my wife to a shop 20 minutes away from her current shop. Most of the other managers are being moved to a shop further from their home, too. This means instead of dropping our daughter off at daycare on the way to work and picking her up afterwards, my wife will have to drop her off, then drive 25 minutes to work, then 25 minutes back to pick her up after work. This adds nearly an hour of additional commute per day. That's nearly 5.5 hours of extra driving per week, and almost 24 hours of driving per month, when we already based our life in this area to avoid the commute. Is there anything we can do about this? Is this really legal? If most of the managers are unhappy, can they get together to stop this from happening? Edit. I shouldn't have to, but I'm adding this to the post because people keep commenting telling me to grow up and accept the added commute time, and pointing out that others have it worse. Added commute time might not be a huge adjustment for you, and that's great. What about a new mom already working 45+ hour weeks? Who has a 1-year-old child with a complex medical condition, and a husband who was recently disabled due to an unexpected injury? When you've lined things up so that most of your child's appointments are nearby your workplace, and all of your husband's many upcoming surgeries are nearby your workplace, so that you can quickly get to the doctor, hospital after work on busy days, when suddenly you're carrying all of the financial burden for your family, and now you'll be paying 3x as much for gas? When you are already stretched thin at home with the time you have to get things done, and now you're losing almost an hour of that time? These are our current circumstances. Try to keep in mind that just because something wouldn't cause much of an issue for you based on your circumstances, doesn't mean that it wouldn't cause a significant disruption in someone else's life due to their circumstances. I was simply asking if this is something my wife has a chance fighting. I wasn't looking for opinions on whether or not you think we should be struggling with it. Is there anything we can do about this? Your wife can look for a new job. Is this really legal? In the USA, yes. In general, when something like this happens, you could maybe make an argument for unemployment. But if the driving difference is only 20 minutes, no chance. If most of the managers are unhappy, can they get together to stop this from happening? They can certainly try. How's the company doing otherwise? Are they failing or going through some kind of reorganization? I only ask because this has me thinking they are trying to avoid layoffs, severance payments by getting as many people as they can to quit voluntarily. This is the new way that companies are weaseling out of their financial obligations when laying off workers. There are a lot of retail shops that are suffering. Lots of bankruptcies and store closings. Most of them are blaming shoplifting. But the retail apocalypse has been going on for over a decade. Your wife could try playing some games. For instance, asking for a demotion to stay at the current location. Then, immediately applying for the manager position at her location because the replacement manager doesn't want to move either. I'm curious who your wife's employer is now. Kinda want to see if I should short their stock. She's MGT, so usually no recourse. Due to your situation, she could possibly ask to stay put. Maybe they would make an accommodation? I hope she's successful. She's got a lot on her plate. There is a theft problem or some other shenanigans going on. Sexual harassment. Or the company is in bad financial shape and wants managers to quit without severance or unemployment payments. This is the classic punish everyone for one manager being a screw-up. What can you do? Not much. Apparently managers are viewed as interchangeable widgets and transferring them, in the mind of corporate, has zero to no effect on profits. Is it legal? Yes. That the company is doing it to all the managers shows that they have made a business decision and are not just singling out certain employees, managers. Imagine if they just closed up shop and moved out of state. I saw that happen in the Roseville office of AT&T back in the 90s. Most of those workers stayed in California. Those that didn't move to other parts of the country. The time of year they've chosen to do this sucks. But to some degree, there is a bonus. You rent. So you aren't stuck trying to sell a house. Likewise, when you go in for your medical treatments, she can use FMLA to take time off to be with you. I am always amazed at how creative bosses, not leaders, are at manufacturing new ways to abuse their employees. This company won't exist for long, as most of your managers will quit. Get out now while the incompetence of whoever is new in the executive suite is still relatively new. They're firing managers without firing them by jerking them around enough so that they quit. Yes, the company can do whatever they want. My company had a small office 20 minutes from the bigger office I work in. They decided to close the smaller office and move everyone from that office to the bigger one. Does it suck that these employees have to drive an extra 20 minutes to work every day? Yep. I worked for another company where I had to drive 45 minutes farther to get to their sister location. Because they were short-staffed there. It's not illegal and the only thing she can do is quit if she doesn't like it. I'm sorry you felt you had to add your edit. I expected better from this group and I thought your story was fine as is. Your edit added significant details for those who needed convincing. I guess. I wish I had any helpful advice. But in my experience there would be no legal leg for you to stand on in terms of employment law. My own workplace was moved 20 minutes farther away at one point, causing me to lose out on access to my yoga class and other things. Like more time on icy roads in the winter, etc. My only choice was to find a new job because Manglement cared not at all. As is their wont. And then the pandemic hit and we all went work from home anyway. In your case, sounds like someone wants to experiment with some goofball Manglement theory just for giggles, without regard for the fallout to their employees, because it is all a game to them before they move on to wreak havoc on the next fools that hire them as consultants or whatever the F. I'm sorry this is happening to you. Quiet quit at the new location. What comes around goes around. To help people comment, can you let us know what country you're in? Man. Screw all the people saying extra commute isn't anything. I waste 35 minutes of my day driving to work. And that makes my 9.5-hour day 10.6. Extra commute is BS unless you signed up for it. Tell her to put her foot down and tell them she stays, or if she leaves it won't be to go to some other location of theirs. I wish you luck with the situation and your child. My stepfather drives 1.5 hours each way every single day. As a pharmacist, he wakes up at 4 a.m., leaves for work at 5:30 a.m., gets home from work at 7 p.m., Monday to Saturday. He doesn't really have a life anymore. I feel bad for him. https www.dal.gov/agencies/whd/factsheets/22 Scroll down to travel time. I've been researching this due to the nationwide WFH cancellation. But this is an applicable stance. TLDR. They can. But all your managers need to get together and discuss their rights. What will actually happen under your FSLA rights is this will be put to rest fairly fast once your management starts coordinating. Under the FSLA, how this works is, you show up to original store on time, clock in, then transfer to new store. This is paid because it's required by company. Then, you have to get back to clock out at the end of your shift. This means your commute time is paid and your shift time includes it. Your commute does not extend the working day. It shortens it. You put in your 8 hours with commute as part of that. Until you get to original store to clock out on time. https www.calltherightattorney.com/blog/2014/02/Wagattorney answer scan my job clock me out when I go potty /also. Good to know. If your company deducts any manager's pay for reasons only hourly employees would suffer, i.e., you missed a break, they open them up to overtime. So the way out of this is to get all the managers knowing their FSLA rights and going, well, if you want to lose 2 hours of work in time for all of us every day doing this, that's on you. The other thing you can do is form a managers union. And if there's only 3 of you, it sounds like that's gonna be easy. This sounds unusual, but it's actually fairly standard practice. Managers are allowed to have unions separately from employees. The practice started because they couldn't be in the same one as regular employees, but are allowed their own separate. TLDR. Stick up for your rights. Send them the bill. Dig your heels in. And dig out the employee handbooks to look for ammo. You could contact a lawyer and ask if this qualifies as constructive dismissal, which then would get you unemployment benefits. Also, to anyone saying, just get a new job, anti-work may not be the sub for you. Find out if the new shop is a different LLC. If so, she can argue that she was fired and rehired at the new location and collect unemployment. Standard quite firing move when managers are getting senior. Inconvenience all of them just enough that some quit and can be replaced with more junior. Read cheaper. Also helps get rid of those that won't roll over for every little imposition that the higher-ups come up with. Higher-level management loves people that are willing to adjust their own lives for arbitrary changes. The only thing they're trying to train is obedience. And you can tell it works by all the people in this thread whining about it only being 20 minutes per commute. They've been well trained. Years ago, my husband and I moved to a new city with his job. After signing a 2-year lease, he was transferred back to the old city and had to drive 45 minutes each way to work. It was a promotion, but we had to get gas and oil changes 3 times as often. That pretty much ate up all the extra money he made every month. It was really annoying. I wonder what they'd do if she and all the other managers being XFRD around left at their normal times for work and left work earlier. Basically let that extra commute time come out of employer's pocket. If she normally leaves home at 7:45, drops off kid at work by 8, still do that, and she gets to work at 8:20 now. And leaves work at 4:40 and does it again in reverse? She should look at her employment contract and see if it lists a location where work will be performed. Many do, and this would be a contract violation. If it doesn't, she should either ask for government-style per diem and mileage each day she has to go to the further shop, or a raise of 20% due to her lost time with family and added expenses. She should not complain about family health issues. They should not impact any employee's ability to meet their job requirements, and she'll be seen as a whiny woman.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.